This video, I'll be sharing with you a requested tutorial on how to cut this stylish monostrap dress with yoke on one side. So if this is something you like, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up. So let's dive right into today's video. So here on my pattern, I marked out my basic measurement, my shoulder to bust, under bust and waistline. I added 7 inches to get my waistline. So I went ahead to mark my shoulder and I got my chest line. So after marking that, the next step you take is to mark your nipple to nipple divided by 2. My nipple to nipple is 7 inches divided by 2. I have 3.5 circumference divided by 6 all the way going down to the lower part of this pattern. Now I'll go ahead to place my ruler and draw out a straight line all the way to the lower part. And after I'm done drawing this out, I'll go ahead to mark my dart intake. So I'll be marking ½ inch here and 1.5 inches here. So if you're a bit busty or you're on the plus size, go ahead to use 1 inch here and 2 inches on the other side. So I'll mark my ½ inch and 1.5 at the other side, and I'll go ahead to connect this all the way down. So after I'm done connecting, I'll also connect at the other side. The next step I'll take now is to place my curved drew, and I'll connect from the bust down to the under bust of my pattern. So after I'm done marking that, I'll start by using my marker to outline my pattern, and after I'm done outlining that, I'll go ahead to divide my shoulder into 2, and from there I'll connect from that point at the bust. I'll mark ½ inch on both sides. So if you're plus size, you can use 0.7 inches at that point. Now this ½ inch extension we took at both sides, which is the dart, I'll go ahead to replace it at the other end of my pattern this way, and I will be connecting it back to the armhole of the dress. This is because when you're joining this pattern, the center of the pattern tends to be slightly longer than that of the side. I'll go ahead to insert my measurement, which is my bust circumference divided by 4. Measure that intake, replace and add 1 inch for my sewing allowance. Mark my under bust circumference divided by 4. Measure the dart intake I took out and add my sewing allowance. I'll also measure my waist circumference divided by 4. Measure the 2 inches dart intake there and replace, add my sewing allowance. Mark my hip circumference divided by 4 at the blouse length. Measure the dart intake, replace and add my sewing allowance. So you can use any sewing allowance of your choice, and I'll go ahead to connect my pattern all the way down. So after connecting, I'm going to go ahead to cut out the part of this pattern that I don't need. But first, I'll mark my bust dart, and to get that is your shoulder to waist in front minus your shoulder to waist at the back. My shoulder to waist in front is 17. My shoulder to waist at the back is 15.5. So if I minus it, what I have is 1.5 inches. I'll shed it out. So I'll replace all these measurements on the other side. So after I'm done doing that, now we are going to go ahead to trace out this pattern. So I'll measure a basic neckline of 3 by 3 inches at both sides of my pattern, and I'll connect. So on one side of this pattern, you notice that we have like a transparent yoke at this side. So after connecting it, we are going to draw out the monostrap on one side and then go ahead to draw out the yoke on the other side. So connect from that 3 inches to the midpoint of your pattern, that is the midpoint of your armhole, and then reconnect your neckline. We are done with the upper part. Now for the lower part, come down by 2 inches or 1.5 here, and I'll come out by ½ inch on both sides. So I'll place my ruler and connect, also place at the other side, and I'll connect. After I'm done connecting, you want to blend your pattern out, and you're going to go ahead to connect. So measure about 3 inches or 3.5 from the waistline, and you're going to blend it out, connecting to the side. So also repeat the same thing at this other side. After marking out, the next step you're going to take is to go ahead to cut out your pattern. So at this point, if you find this tutorial very interesting and educative, please don't forget to hit on the subscribe button. Give this video a thumbs up, leave your comment at the comment section. So after cutting, this is what I have on this side. And we're going to move over to the other side of this pattern. Also remember to blend in your dart. Now I've gone ahead to mark out all the basic measurements we need for the back, which is the shoulder to bust, shoulder to waist, and blouse length. So remember, our back pattern also the shoulder to waist is 15.5. So for this, I'll mark a basic neckline of 3 inches. Sorry, a basic neckline of 3 by 1.5 inches. I'll connect. Now I'll go ahead to start marking my dart. I'll mark my nipple to nipple divided by 2. So just like I said, my shoulder to waist at the back is 15.5, and I added extra 7 inches to the length because that is what I also added at the front part of this pattern. So now I'll be taking a basic dart intake of ½ inch on both sides of my waistline. After marking that, I will go ahead to come down by 1 inch here, and from here I'll measure 4 inches, and I'll go ahead to place my ruler to connect at both sides of my pattern. After I'm done connecting, I'll connect to the upper part this way. So the next step is to go ahead to insert our measurement. So when you're inserting your measurements, all the measurement will start after the zipper line of this pattern. I'm going to mark my bust circumference divided by 4, which is 33 divided by 4. I have 8.3. Go ahead to add your sewing allowance. Here I'll mark my waist circumference divided by 4, measure this dart intake, replace, and add my sewing allowance. Here I'll mark my hip circumference divided by 4, and I'll also add my sewing allowance. Note, to get the length of this dress is your shoulder to waist plus 7 inches. So also for the back, you have to use your shoulder to waist plus 7 inches. So now I'll go ahead to connect from this point to the other end. After I'm done connecting on this pattern, the next step I'm going to take is to go ahead to come up by that same 3.5 inches we took for the front, and I'll go ahead to blend this down, and then I'll use my marker to also outline it to make it more visible for you to see. So after drafting this, the next step is to go ahead to open it up to alter the other side of the pattern. So what I'll do is just to go ahead to connect from one side of the neckline to the other side, and at the zipper I'll go straight. So what I'll do now is to find the midpoint of the armhole, and I'll connect. Then go ahead to connect from here to this point. So make sure that whatever you're cutting matches each other. That is the neckline of the part that doesn't have a yoke. When you place it on the pattern, it should also face the part that doesn't have a yoke. So I marked ½ inch here to get rid of bulginess. I extended it to the lower part of my pattern, and I'll also extend it all the way up. After this, I'll just go ahead and cut out my pattern, and I'll trace out the zipper area and cut this out. So sorry, I'm a bit fast on this tutorial. The tutorial is actually very long, so I had to reduce it. So now for this part, to cut out the collar area of this dress, so what you need to do is you need to actually join your pattern first, then go ahead to place like a pattern over it. That is, you join the main fabric, but since it's a drafting tutorial, all I'm doing is just to place the neckline area together. Then you can go down by 2 inches, then slant it to the side going over this way. Now you can now cut it out and transfer your pattern to a fabric, and then go ahead to cut out. So if you notice that there's a collar going from one side to the other end of the pattern. So after cutting out, this is what my pattern will look like.